So first, and ones that I've done before would be becoming a partner in a consulting firm specializing in cloud computing. Lots of large consulting firms out there. I call them the big six, big five, big three, whatever. We all know who those guys are. But there's also hundreds, if not thousands, of other smaller boutique consulting firms that focus on cloud computing. And I've started a few of those over the years and worked for a few of those over the years. And I work for the big firms as well. So if you're willing to put the time and effort into it, because it is a lot of time to spend on these jobs, you can get to a partner level position in some of these larger consulting firms, and they do pay or can pay as much as $1 million a year. So you can become a millionaire pretty quickly. The downside is they're normally very labor intensive. They're going to have you wear a lot of hats. You have to be good with the technology, but you also have to be good with relationship selling, and you have to be good with leading people as well as doing a bunch of other stuff at the same time. And so you're training people, you're mentoring people, you're doing volunteer work. They encourage kind of a rounded career path. But if you're able to do that and kind of play the game, they're going to compensate you well. And they compensate you in the form normally of cash. You are going to get some equity in the firm. But, this is one of those things where you're going to be there for a certain amount of time. Normally they have an age out. In other words, you get to a certain age and you have to move out of the firm. So there is going to be an end to that, but it's not like a startup company where you're obtaining massive amounts of stock and you're waiting for the go public exit. So the downsides in this area would be just the amount of work that is going to be required. So it's going to be fairly competitive. You're going to be competing with other firms, but you're also going to be competing in many instances with other partners as well. And you're going to have to build your expertise. You're going to have to build your book of business. You're going to have to build your teams or your networks within the company. And it does take somebody who's not just adept at cloud computing. I think that's the bare minimum, but someone who can do the internal networking, the selling, getting the leadership team, influence, advisory committees, and just have a huge rounded presence where you're not only known well within the firm, but you're known outside the firm. So in other words, you're doing the public thought leadership stuff as well as being highly regarded in the firm, and that'll get you to successes. And they pay bonuses. They pay really well, good benefits. And if you find the right firm, it's something that you want to hang on to for a long period of time. When I was working for the big consulting firms out there, I noticed that a lot of people were there for 20, 30 years. So they spent their entire career at the firm, which means that the firm is providing opportunities for them that make it difficult for them to find with other firms. So they're doing something good if they're keeping people that long. Again, though,